Coming to Curiosity Stream, go on an adventure 66 million years in the making with Dino Week. From new discoveries about the dinosaurs we thought we knew, to the mind-blowing species still being unearthed, and the controversial discovery that could rewrite history. Did dinosaurs survive longer than imagined? Dino Week on Curiosity Stream. And with monthly, annual, and bundled pricing plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
Lean on us.
We are here for you.
You matter.
You are not alone.
Are you feeling overwhelmed? Not sure where to turn? The National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there for you 24/7. Call or text 988 or chat at 988sc.org. Whether you're having an emergency or you know someone who needs support now, they can help you take the next step towards finding hope and healing.
There is hope. 988sc.org.
Well, hello, my paranormal peeps, and welcome back to Deep Woods Paranormal Podcast. I am your host, Matt Harvey. I also am the founder and lead investigator with Deep Woods Paranormal. Along with my wife, Amanda, we research everything paranormal, Bigfoot, YouTube, UFOs, ghosts, hauntings, demons, crypto creatures, lake monsters, you name it, we go after it. If we're able to go to the location and check it out. This is the Bigfoot only podcast. On this podcast, it's supposed to be Friday night, but unfortunately it's a day late. Unfortunately, our website decided to crash. And guess who got to spend all night long last night trying to figure out how to get back up, which I wasn't able to. So if you're going to our website right now, it's a little bit messed up. Anyways, it's not there. And it just needs... I'm going to have to rebuild it somewhere else. Unfortunately, the company that wanted to help us fix it gave me a price that was just astronomical. I'm like, no. All right. So, again, this is the Bigfoot only podcast. We're going to talk about quite a few things today. We're going to focus on the Sam Houston National Forest. This hair sample, if you're watching, I don't know if you can see that, but there is a hair sample inside here. There we go. There's a better view of it. You can kind of see the little scraggly thing there. That's a hair sample. Now, I went out a weekend ago. It's been 2 weeks with David, and he's a witness. He never actually physically saw the Bigfoot, but he had every other experience you could have with Bigfoot. And found prints and all this other stuff. I talked about this last time, so I'm not going to go into it too much this time. But we're looking at his area heavily right now. The problem is there's hunting going on. So we're not able to get out to that area and safely investigate without probably being shot at. So we just don't want to do that. But I have the hair samples that I collected from him. I'm getting them put into these little vials, and I will be sending them off to hopefully get DNA tested very soon. If you guys have anybody you trust that you use for DNA, let us know. Company that's actually sent you back information. We've submitted a couple samples and never got anything back. And then we've also been told some of our samples just weren't worth looking at. So they just sent them back to us. And it was like, okay, whatever. I do have a microscope here. It's not, heavy duty microscope. It's just a little kid's microscope. But I do intend to look at the hair samples underneath that. And maybe I'll film myself doing it, and so you guys can see what I see. I don't know if there's going to be anything to them. But these were found about 11 feet up in the tree. And I don't know what critter would have that long of hair, stringy, long brown hair that was up on those branches. Those branches were very flimsy. It's not like something large could have been on there. Something had to reach up into those branches and get some hair caught. So we're working on getting those samples sent out. We'll be doing a video. I'll release that video of us kind of pulling the hair apart from everything. It's unfortunately when I pulled it down, I got like half the branch. I did say they are flimsy. It was just a very thin branch with a lot of hair samples on it. So I knocked it off carefully, trying not to disturb the hair, and I didn't want it to touch the ground. So I caught it with basically in a bag, put it in a bag, and then basically brought it back. So it's not been touched by us. It's not been breathed on. It's not been contaminated. Right now, we're going to basically, like I said, put it in these test tubes and send it out for DNA. So we talked about the Sam Houston National Forest. This is a place that we've talked about many times. It's a location that has, I don't know how many reports. It's got so many reports, it's not even funny. I think a Bigfoot's seen like once a week or more at this location. So what we want to do is we want to go look into some of these locations, and I'm going to do that in just 1 second here. Sorry, I just had to wet my mouth. Okay, let me share my screen with you guys. We'll go on to the Bigfoot map. If you've been on this podcast before, either visually or listen to us, I kind of talk about things as detailed as I can. This time, we're going to be a little more careful because I don't really want to give out too much information, especially because we're still looking. So if you're watching this podcast, you can see the Sam Houston National Forest has like 3 different sections. There's one in the east, there's one kind of central, and then there's one more to the west, near Richards and Lake Conroy and stuff like that. And this is the area I'm going to talk about. If you look, you can see all these blue pins. If you're watching this podcast, you'll see all these blue pins. All these blue pins here are Bigfoot sightings. And there's clusters all through here. But mainly there's a cluster up here. And this is the area I'm looking at. Now, this is a very large area. This is probably hundreds of miles wide and probably at least 100 miles deep, top to bottom, if you're going to drive across. So we're going to kind of look at some of these locations. Let's see, what is this one? So people have had multiple sightings in the Pole Creek campground. It's not just sightings. Most of the time, campers are being awakened at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning by someone just like trudging through the brush. Just like I said, if somebody large was walking through the brush, they hear tree knocks, they hear screams, they hear whoops and stuff as they sleep. So Pole Creek campsite, I can't talk today. Pole Creek campsite is an area where there's been a lot of activity. Let me go down here to this next one. The Little Creek area, Little Lake Creek area has also had quite a few sightings. And then if we go down here, not sure exactly what this area is. So we'll just kind of zoom in. Let's see here. Let me take that back off and I'll zoom back out. This one, let's see. This one here. Okay. So we're down in this area. So this is just on the outskirts, the western side of Sam Houston National Forest by Bethel Road. And looks like there's Bethel Cemetery, which I believe somebody might have told me they had some activity here. I don't think I've been to this cemetery. I'll have to go check the Bethel Cemetery out. In fact, let me write that down. Bear with me for just a second. Just writing this down. This is how my research goes. I start poking around at places where there's been a lot of activity. And then essentially as I do that, I basically kind of come back and start looking around at different places. I've talked about this multiple times. But I'm looking at the cemetery. I'm going, okay, it's kind of wide open around it. It's got some homes, but it's across the street, and it's basically wide open territory. What I'm looking at mainly is it looks like there's a big pond right behind the cemetery, and there's a green belt back here. And so something could come across the road here, duck into the tree line, and you would probably never see him. Bigfoots a lot of the time look like they're wearing ghillie suits. So that's interesting. Here's the area David and I researched up in here. This is where the hair samples and everything were found. I'm not going to go into that location. But so you got a cluster of sightings in this area. Let me zoom out so so you got a cluster of sightings in this area. Now I'm wondering if there's a campsite here. I just talked about Pole Creek. And then over here, David had his experience over here. That is private property. You can't go onto that area. I was allowed to go up with him. And then a little creek area. So this tells me there might be a Bigfoot in this territory doing some hunting and stuff at night. I would imagine that they understand that the hunters are going. So they're probably really quiet at night. They probably aren't making a lot of noise as they go unless somebody disturbs them. But this is an area of interest. This whole section here, from Bethel Road over to the 149. Let's see. This section of forest, if it's almost like a circle, the road's kind of encircled. The 149 and the Bethel Road. Bethel Road's on the west side. The 149's on the right side. The east side. And in between there, it's like there's this big chunk of green. And it just makes me wonder if there's activity there. So now here's the Lone Star hiking trailhead. I'll have to talk to David and see what he thinks about this, but I would imagine walking into this area. Let's just take a look at this. Oh, look at that. Little Lake Creek. There's a creek here. I don't know how far this is. It's probably miles and miles and miles, probably 10, 15, 20 miles in. But there's a creek that runs down through here. Let me just look back through here. Right now, the creeks might all be dry just because of all the... Yeah, so there's a creek that runs all the way through this whole area. Yeah, it runs right down past Little Lake Creek campgrounds. And that's where somebody had an experience. So I'm wondering if they're following the Little Lake Creek. Again, bear with me. Let me write this down. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of information on Little Lake Creek. It looks pretty dry right now. And as I zoom in, it doesn't look like there's much there. I know the creek that David and I went by was pretty dry. This also looks like a place where water comes through, maybe. So we're just zoomed in on the map if you're listening to this. So, yeah, those are areas I want to definitely check out. There's like a triangle of activity in this area. I'm guessing it's wider than this area. But if you look up north of that, there's another sighting up here. I don't know what town this is. It's up by the Lone Star hiking trail. And there's nothing here. It's just all open forest. So this is where somebody had a experience as well. So definitely have to check out that hiking trail, Lone Star hiking trail. We'll definitely check that out. And then if you come across here, this is kind of on the other side. There's a couple of sightings up here too. What's here? Nothing. I don't know why that keeps showing a lake. There's nothing there. It's showing a lake because there's just nothing there. I don't understand. There's no lake here. This is just just a big open area. And then there was another Bigfoot sighting over here, east of it. Again, just a big open area of just brush. So this is the kind of thing where I need to put my backpack on, my camping backpack on, and go just take my time, hike out to these locations, maybe spend a couple nights out, going out to those locations and seeing what I can experience. We do allow people to come with us on our Bigfoot investigations. So if you're a Bigfooter in Central or East Texas and you want to come out and do a Bigfoot research with us, please let us know. Or you can, basically email us or call us. All of our information's everywhere. So I think on the bottom of this podcast, my phone number's there. So those are two interesting places. There's not a lot there. There's a home. No, let's see. Looks like there's a farm up here. So when I see farms, I start looking at it going, okay, what are they growing? Do they have an apple orchard? I can't talk. Do they have an apple or I can't speak. I can't say that. Apple or I just can't say orchard. There we go. Apple orchard or some kind of fruit orchard. Are they growing pecans? Or what are they growing that would draw a Bigfoot up in this location? I think that essentially this might be a migration pattern. Let's look up here. So if you come here, this might be a migration pattern down to this area here into the Lake Conroe area. So if we go out just a little bit, so you can just see all the clusters north of the Sam Houston in the north section of the Sam Houston National Forest, and then down in the middle here, and then also down in the bottom left corner. So there's just a lot of activity. Lake Conroe supposedly has a lot of activity too. We drove by this bridge. I'm going to see if I can put this down here so we can actually see. Try not to drop him in the water. Okay. So this is the Lake Conroe. Basically, he crosses this highway crosses the Lake Conroe. When we were driving by here, just a little bit up the road here in the forest, let me scoot this down a few notches. I'm going to get past all the water. So we're going to keep going, keep going, keep going. We're about a quarter of a mile from the water. And I looked over and I started seeing tree bends. And I'm like, okay. And unfortunately, we were not able to stop. But it was interesting to see those tree bends. So we're on let's see where we're at. We're on the west side of the Lake Conroe, off the 1375. And essentially that's what we're looking at. We're looking at this area here. Now you're saying, oh, well, this is a big fishing area and hunting area, but essentially, there wouldn't be any Bigfoots here. Let me go back out. Where it just took us. Took us to New Waverly. All right. Oh, I'll get back to that spot. Just give me a second here. All right. New Waverly does have activity too. It seems like there's a cluster all the way across this whole section. And I would imagine there's probably hundreds of Bigfoot sightings missing from here, because unfortunately a lot of people don't actually talk about their sightings. All right, so we're over by Lake Conroe. So here's another place with Bigfoots. Okay, so you got Kelly's Pond, which is, I'll just show this to you. We've been there, man, and I have. It's a nice location. Let me see if I can flip through these pictures. Yeah, there we go. There's the campgrounds. And a lot of Bigfooters actually come down here. Now, this is a pond. This water's disgusting. I feel bad for this little dog that ran in there. But back in here, what was that? Listen back for that. I think somebody was just talking next to me. We'll have to listen back for that.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
So we have investigated in this area before, back here in the forest. As you kind of go down, it kind of levels off and then it slopes down quite a bit, and then you get back into the normal forest. But yeah, this is a cool place. Kelly's Camp would be a good place for a like a normal hub if you were going to do a couple 3 or 4 nights. This would be a good place if there wasn't a lot of people around to come and basically sit here and listen. Let me see if there's any more pictures. Oh yeah. So this is the drive-in. You can see how thick and forested it is. And then here's people camped at the sites. It's a big time off-road motorcycle place. A lot of people like to do ATVs and motorcycles and stuff like that through here, 4-wheelers. In the future, Amanda and I are going to try and get some 4-wheelers. That's in our future plans. So that may happen next year. So we can get deeper into the forest quicker and spend more time doing actual research instead of just basically driving around and looking at trails and stuff. So, like here's a tent set up. Here's the bikers. But here's a mushroom. I don't know if this is edible for Bigfoot, not for a human, but for Bigfoot. And then there's lots of berries out there. There's all kinds of food source, and there are deer and everything out here too. So, okay, let's get out of Kelly's Pond. All right, so yeah, there's another place. It's kind of right in the middle of everything. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, there's got to be a place that they're coming through. They're following. And if you look in the middle here, right down through here, you'll see a lot of sightings. And then it comes down right into where Kelly's Pond is. And then it dead ends into where one of the fingers of Lake Conroy essentially come up to. So, I mean, Bigfoots are smart. They're like us. They will definitely use trails and stuff like we do if they think they can get away with it, I believe. And this is all just theory. So you got to take all this with a huge grain of salt. This is just research at this point. There's nothing proven. I always say you have to have experience where you can say it couldn't be anything else but. So for all the skeptics listening, that's fine. I want you to be skeptical. I want you to come out and have an experience where, you can say that couldn't be anything else but a Bigfoot. And it's going to change your life. Once you've had an experience with one of these things, multiple of these things, your thinking changes. It opens up a whole new can of worms that, a lot of people are just most people are scared, but a lot of people also, like me, then become super excited about it and really want to learn more. So let's keep going here. This is the Lone Star Trailhead. This is a place right next to where the people had the sighting on the bridge that crosses Lake Conroe. And there's Bigfoot reports on the other side. You would think that they would go through, kind of come down here and basically come across the top over here above Lake Conroe, and then maybe go back up into this green thicket, and then can maybe come across here as they need to. But I think that a lot of Bigfoots are territorial. They stay in territories. My belief is that Bigfoots, once they're born and they get to a certain age, let's call them teenagers. I don't know how long Bigfoots live or whatever, but we're working on that. So let's say a Bigfoot reaches maturity, and maybe they're not full grown, maybe they're just kind of a teenager, but either they're causing problems for the group, or maybe it's time for them to move on. Maybe there aren't a lot of females in the group that they're in, and so they have to migrate. They have to go find another group. The Sam Houston National Forest is a little strange. It's a little different than that for me. I honestly think they move around quite a bit. I don't think they really stay in a place for too long. When David and I were out, I'm pretty sure something was watching us. I'm pretty sure the day watcher, or whatever you want to call them, whoever was keeping guard, was alerted to our presence somehow, and then essentially wanted to make sure that we knew it had hurt us, and kind of let the other members of the group kind of know, hey, there's people in the area. So yeah, I mean, the Sam Houston National Forest is just a really cool place. This whole, if you're watching this podcast, this whole section, this green section here, this green section here, and this green section over here, it's all part of the Sam Houston National Forest. So yeah, and then Lake Conroe is a big time hotspot for them. I would imagine not the bottom section of Lake Conroe where all the families are and homes are, but if you follow Lake Conroe, it comes up a couple places into where the Sam Houston National Forest is. The actual thicket of it is, and it could be a good water source, could be a fishing source, could be a place to swim or whatever, cool off in the heat and stuff like that, especially because we're having such a drought here in Texas. But yeah, definitely a cool place. We're going to be doing further research here. I'm going to probably we're going to try and set up some weekend investigations where we go on a Friday and a Saturday, and we essentially stay 2 nights somewhere. Or we stay in one location and then we move to another. It might be one of the campgrounds. It might be Matt gets his backpack on, throws everything he needs for 2 days, and walks into the wilderness and essentially lives off whatever he has. I have to make my own makeshift camps, walk out into the wilderness, and basically kind of Survivor Man type thing. So yeah, that's coming down the pike. So yeah, they'll definitely be doing a lot more work in the Sam Houston National Forest. We're gonna be working with David. He and his wife, I think I said this last time, after I left, they went out and they heard some hoots and howls and stuff like that. So we're narrowing down locations, and we're gonna try and pinpoint exactly where they are. The long-term goal is to either tranquilize one and somehow put a tracker on it that they can't somehow get off, which, I mean, if these things are as strong and as powerful as we think they are, I mean, they're going to be able to rip a collar off or whatever without an issue. But yeah, we need to, something under the skin, something like that, where we can track where they're going. If we could dart one, we could get a skin sample, hair sample, some saliva, maybe some blood, and then basically study it. Get a lot of detailed photos and videos, really document it, maybe get some samples under the fingernails and stuff like that. So, and then of course, the idea is to basically dart it, get the information we need, collect all the data we can, and then basically just leave it and let it go and not hurt it any further. So there's another option, and we've been talking to a lot of people about this. I don't know even where to even start looking for this, but there's another option where you can put something inside food. I've talked about them liking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and apples and grapes and stuff like that. If you could find a small enough, my computer just did that. If you could find a small enough little tracker, and you could put it in like a grape, or you could put it inside of an apple, or you could put it inside of the PBJ sandwich, and essentially leave it, have them take it, eat that, then you could track where they were. You could track them, at least for a couple days, and watch their movements and see where they go. And then you could go to those areas and carefully start looking around. I wouldn't want to obstruct what they were doing. I don't want to encroach on their territory more than we already have. I mean, people have completely encroached in on wildlife's territory the whole time we've been here. But yeah, just theories at this point in time, just ideas. If you know somebody that has that tracking device, or would be able to help us with getting a tracking device, and down goes the soda, please let us know. We are looking for people to help us actually make this happen. We really want to make sure that our research goes to the next level. We don't want to just get a Bigfoot on trail cam. We don't want to just get a hair sample or a footprint or whatever. We want the whole enchilada. We want to get to the point where we can document them and study them, maybe from a distance, and hopefully get to the point where they trust us enough for us to maybe come in and sit with them, kind of like Jane Goodall did with the gorillas in Africa. But that's our plan, is to continue to move our research forward. We're getting new gear and stuff like that. So yeah, just a lot of stuff going on. Let me go to Facebook real quick. I want to show you guys some stuff before I let you guys go. All right, so this is our Facebook account, Deep Woods Paranormal. We have a good amount of followers now. We appreciate that. We appreciate you guys' support. Speaking of social media, if you guys wouldn't mind, if you like our podcast and you enjoy it, please like and share this on your social media. We're growing like crazy. This podcast is getting more and more popular. We're constantly running into people that, oh, you're that podcaster guy here in town and stuff like that. So people are starting to get to know us. If you could just help us out and just post the podcast to your social media, or if you're a friend on our Facebook page, if you could post, if you can copy and paste or like our posts, we appreciate it. It really helps us and helps us continue to do the research. So here's Amanda's ghost stories. I just posted that I just posted that a couple hours ago to YouTube, and then it went out on, I think, Thursday, unfortunately, to the audio podcast. But we got a lot of stuff coming down the pike. We're going to be doing an investigation at the San Jacinto Jail Museum here in Cold Springs, Texas, on the 26th of November at 8 p.m. Really cool location. It has the jail has a old post office, a double wide school, and then a train depot. And then also the grounds are haunted by the 300 or so people that were hung there. A lot of people hung on that property. A lot of people died on this property. And did I mention there's Bigfoot reports around the area too? One of our clients said she thought she saw something watching her from the forest, and then it just basically moved back into the forest. And she just got a quick glimpse of it. She couldn't say it was Bigfoot. So that's coming down the pike. And then we have the OP Ply House. That will be on the October 22nd. You can get tickets by clicking on here on our Facebook page. This is not our event. We're just going to be doing a podcast. And then after everybody leaves, we're going to get the opportunity to go into the house and do a full investigation for 4 or 5 hours. And there's 2 homes. So we'll be documenting as much as we can in both locations. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. You guys have a great night and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And please like and subscribe. Please share this on social media. And we'll catch you on the next one.